And good morning, everybody. This is Thursday. What day is it? So October 15th. Welcome to the Hawkeye session. And just for the disclaimers, to get those out of the way, trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendations will be provided. Any trade taken during this live trading session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money that you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules of entry, exits, targets, and risk management. Now we got that out of the way. Let's go to the charts. And I haven't even looked at this one yet. We're going to take a look at the New Zealand US since that's the active trade. And I do have one that I've got set up to take a short on the US yen. That was from an alert that was all the way at 245 this morning, and I'm looking to take it short. I'm not in the trade yet. I may get filled, I may not, but anyway, that's what I'm looking on that. New Zealand US. And we're going to go over here, start with a fresh chart. And we're going to go on our 15-minute chart. And I can see right now we have and let's just make one statement here. I did make a change on our MRSI with the 8-period moving average. I used to have it set at a 40-60 range. I expanded this out to the 75 and 25. I think it's going to serve us better. We really weren't getting a lot of information other than the fact not to take the trade, but quite frankly, we shouldn't be taking the trade if it's somewhere between the 75 and 25 anyway. So I'm going to make that change for right now. We'll see if that helps us at all. I still have the 89 and the 11 for the blue, which is a 3-period. That's a blue RSI. And the orange one is an 8-period. And I'm still looking at that being for the 75 and 25. So let's clear that one up. And then we go, AIRIS at 745 was the alert. And the New Zealand is an ascending wedge, which means it was coming up from the bottom to the top. So we had this is the area we're looking at. We had this nice strong drop coming down. And right now we're looking at, there was a little bit of a channel, and this looks like it's already kind of breaking out of that channel, but we're going to go from a low to a high, tuck this in, and see if we can get this thing going in the right direction here. And we tuck this in up here. And it looks like it's starting to get a little bit of a break. One thing I'm looking at here, where we had the alert, our RSIs are way down here below. And so I'm looking at where it needs to, we're looking for that hook. We don't want to be, one of the problems we've been having is that we've been getting a breakout. Now this is still an active, this 15-minute candle just closed right here. So this was and that did not close below where this A is. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can tuck this down a little bit here. No, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to work. And we have so basically what we've created a channel, which is now starting to break out of the bottom. Strong move down, a little bit of a flag pattern here, and now starting to break down. Now, if we're looking at this from a higher time frame perspective, I'd be looking at a target. If it does break and gives us another retest of this wedge, we're basically taking this at the low end as it's breaking out. If this thing comes up, it's on the lower time frame, You can see where it's already starting to give us a blue candle here on the, so right at this point, if I try to tweak it on the 5-minute chart, I'm not totally convinced I'm going to take this thing short. I'd like to see it retrace a little bit more before I do.
Good morning, Al.
Good morning, Matt.
You're already taking a look at the Kiwi, right?
Well, we just got that alert. There we go. Let's take it this way. There we go. So right now it's looking like it wants to break out. What I don't like is the fact that good news and bad news. Good news is it's showing lots of weakness. The bad news is it's already down
Tons of
here.
weakness.
There's lots of weakness. Now the question is it going to just break and fall apart? And do we take it in now, or do we wait for it to pull back a little bit before we do?
So this is a flat bottom right now for me. I just made it flat. So
Like
yeah, and then I'm just waiting to see something. Let's see. What do I
I'm going
got?
to do is I'm going to know where the bottom of this A is. So I'm going to make a note of that. I'll put the I need to see it close below this A, then hopefully go back into this little area right here to take it short. I like to see a little bit of a pullback on something. Right now, I'm not seeing any pullback at all, which is kind of interesting. I like to see this blue one come up, at least try and break above. I want to see that. I want to see a little bit of an uptrend first before I get in. I've already missed this part here. Now this was a nice little break. A nice break, come down, came back, retest the wedge. Now it's on the way down. This thing could go for quite a ways actually. If I look at this nice move down, strong move down, here's where the alert came in. If we look at what we do for our Fibonacci retracement, if I come up here, I can get my tracing tool. There it is. Come up here to the top where this move started, came back down to where the A is, come back up to where the D is. Try and catch that, zero that out. The zero line right here is on the D, and I'm reading how much the retracement is off the A. And you can see the retracement is between 23 and 38%. That means that from this move down, it retraced about 23 to 36%. And then the target now would be down here at so if this thing comes down, here's where the target would be, right over in this area. And I'm going to mark it between right about in this area right in here. This would be the target. So now we can take this line off. And let's go and we can see if there's anything over to the left that would help us tweak this area a little bit. And so I'm going to extend this, go to my settings, and go to style, extend to the left. And I'm going to come over here and see what I can find over to the left. I'm going to tighten up my chart a little bit. And right here, here's where this thing got rejected, came all the way back down, rejected it, and that's where this move originated. So right now it's looking like it's trying to head back down, but we have this area that we have to be looking at. This is where it came. We had a nice move up, came back down, retested this area, went way back up again. Here's move up. So this area is where you have a hit here, you have a hit here. Probably a good chance it's going to come down to this area to retest. And from a price standpoint, we're looking at a possibly probably about, that's about 30 pips. And let's go back to our 15-minute chart. Actually, we got it on a 1 minute, I believe, which 15.5.
I'm going to do a UJL just because I don't think it's done yet. I think there's still a potential trade there.
On the UJ?
Yeah.
Well, this one's pretty much already out of the shoe. This was a nice little entry here.
It was. I'm not entering that.
I didn't take it. I can't get in there right now. If it comes back up into this area, if I get a bounce, I may be able to take a bounce before it gets down into this but I would say this is probably a pretty good target area. If you got in this trade, this is a target to be looking at.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of move to the downside here.
I would agree. But right now it's too late for if you're trying to catch the down move, don't do it.
Yeah, I didn't get it. And this move pretty much happened right on the alert. It happened. We had the alert. This was
quick.
This was a candle that closed on the alert right here, and it really. Oh boy, I'll tell you, it was. You have to be sitting pretty much right on it.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't. We got the break. Here's where the alert was. And we tucked it in. Here's where the break was pretty much right at 5 minutes after the alert. That was the break, came back, retested. Did give you a little bit of a whip to do here. But now it's pretty much, now if it comes on back up into this area, that might be I'd like to see this come on up, hook. If it comes back and hook, then I might be able to take a shot at this one. It does have a lot of, so right now I'm looking for a pullback to get into this thing. And so that is the New Zealand. Let me slide that over here so we know what we're looking at. And then there was another one for UJ, which is a 245. I already had that one planned out. And it still hasn't got me into this. Right now, this was 245. And I had an uptrending wedge. It came up. Now, what we had the alert, and all the RSIs were up near the top of the range. When it pulled back, I looked at this pivot up here. Actually, I was looking at this pivot right here. This is where the alert was. And we had the RSIs are up. So it pulled back down. It came back up and retested it. Now I'm looking at this area as the place where I want to enter. It pulled back. If it gets back up right where my arrow is, this is where I entered this is where I set up the trade. If it gets me in here, I have my stop up here. I have my first target down here. And that's the way I'm playing that one. And we have we had a nice little trend coming up. I'm looking at pretty much the top. If you look at, let me get this on a higher time frame so you can see what I did here. If you look and see where the highs, this thing's making lower highs for the last 3 days. Actually, it started off here. This was on the 7th. Had a high, lower high here, lower high here. If you take this trend, you can take this trend all the way up to this area, and you have an anchor, and this goes all the way up several hits right up here. This is a relatively strong trend going down. As long as it stays below this trend, I figure we're good. We're good. If it breaks, if this is at the bottom of it, then it breaks, then we could be looking at a retrace. But right now, it's still trending on down. We have a nice move down, came back, give us a flag pattern, and we're trying to capture this break to retest this bottom down here. So this would be where I want to enter. This is where I'm going to be looking to get out. Here's my first target, and my second target would be down below here. If it breaks and takes my stop out, we're looking at a possible reversal to where it's going to start a new trend to the upside.
That's your demo?
That's my demo, yep.
Okay, so I'm exploring something. Anyway, it's just small lot size, but if it bounces off of the 105.229, that's where I made a significantly bigger wedge. I used the entire move as a wedge.
This entire move.
Yeah, that entire move, I made a really big wedge. Sorry, voice is not working.
So you went down like this.
Yep, all the way down. I made a significantly bigger wedge because we missed the original wedge that was there. So I was fine with stretching that out, and I'm looking for 23.22. If it bounces there or anywhere around there, that would be like the third or fourth bounce on that trend line. And that would be potentially a pretty good buy.
Well, this is a nice little channel we have going on right here. Here's the anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. It came up, gave us a little bit higher. And we could, I'm going to still maintain this because this little area right here respected both the downtrend and also respected this upper channel. So this is what we would call this an energy point right up in here. So if I get filled, my stops, and my stop, you can see my stop is way up here. This is only 10 pips. So that's not bad at all. And so basically I'm looking for a 10 pip stop, 10 pip target. My target is still below where the C is. So if it comes back down, it should come retest this bottom. If it maintains this channel and it comes back down, it should be able to, I should be able to get pretty close to getting my 10 pips out. May have to cut it a little bit short depending. But on the upside is that if I get stopped out and it breaks this upper trend line, if it breaks this point right here, I'm going to be this intersection right here between these two points. If it breaks that, then we're looking at a possible change in direction. I'll put this as a caution area. A visual stop. So that's the way I'm looking at that one. Let's see if New Zealand's doing anything for us so we can get into this New Zealand trade. Nice little hook, getting a hook back coming up. This RSI is still buried down here, still buried down here. We're getting a nice little pullback. So this is a little wedge in itself.
Yeah, that might be an entry, Al.
This will be an entry right here. So I'm just going to do
It might.
if I can get this thing, if it's not too, every time I change charts, I got to redo this.
Yeah. No, me too.
I'm going to do a market entry on this one. This one still looks like it's going to be a good sell.
Let's see.
And let's see where my protection is. Profit 14, stop is 7. I'm gonna pull my stop up a little bit higher. I'd like to see my stop get up into this area. I don't want to see it get up into this area. If it does, that's only 13 pips. So I'm looking at pretty much a 1-to-1 move on this.
All right, Beach Panda. We'll catch you later.
I like this. This is a nice little drop spacing. Hopefully get another drop again. And if it pulls back up in here, I'll probably try and take another entry to it. But we already had the pullback, so right now it has a nice little move coming down.
Yeah, let's see if it forms another wedge and then keeps on coming. I'd like to see it come up higher though, Al. I'd like to see it come up to closer to 95 or something like that.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice if it did. Well, actually, right now it wouldn't be nice if it did, but I like.
Oh, you're in?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I just did a market entry on that.
Oh, okay. No, all right. Let's send it down some more. How about that?
But this is a nice little flag here. I said our target is all the way down here at this. We have a nice little target range here. This could be a nice little move. This is still buried down here below the 75. So even with this pullback here, this one's not moving anywhere. So it's still a short. This is just a pullback retrace. If it pulls back a little bit more, I'll probably take another position on it.
Yeah, look at how dominant the Hull moving averages are. They're just completely red.
Yeah, they're red all the way across. And our strength, the U.S. is strong to the 7070. Where's my other one? My RSI. Let's see here. Where is it on the? How did I lose that one? Let's see. EMA revised. Let's see. I think this is for my 1 minute. Let's try this one. For my, I want to get my RSI tool back up here on the 1 minute.
Yeah.
All right, now we have lots of strength to the side of favoring the dollar.
Doesn't look so strong in the 1 minute, does it?
Well, it's just starting to flip over. This would be a possible pullback here with the
Pullback,
with the
yeah.
1 minute. Yeah.
I usually don't. If I see the 5 minute start losing strength, then that's kind of like a pretty big caution sign.
Yeah. But we still have a nice 7-pip spread, 7-point spread. So
it's pretty dominant.
We're bound to lose a few points on here on the pullback.
I'll let you know if I decide to take a sell and at what time. I wouldn't put your stop too tight on this one, right, Al? Because
I've got back up to the wedge. It should. I'm looking at see if it holds this 62. We have a 62 up here coming in on the 5 minute. And that's at the other side. That's pretty much at the other side of the wedge. So
right, that would be like a 20 pip stop.
Yeah,
that's too big.
If I get stopped out here, then I'll just try and. If I get stopped out and it gives me another reason to get in, I'll just re-enter. I still like the fact these are still down below. This one still hasn't come out of the 75 area. This one just barely came out. We have a nice strong pullback on the 1 minute. This is coming back up into the. Actually, let me go and change this.
On the 1 minute, yeah.
Let me change.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, and if you want to change, just click on that little setting wheel. It'll pull up this chart, then come down here where it says these are your 3 period, 89 and 11. Here's the 8 period. I'm going to change this one to 75 and 25.
Is anyone in the room still missing any of those indicators that we're providing for the next little bit?
Here's a nice little hook.
Jannar is missing indicators.
Jannar didn't get it yet?
No.
Okay.
All right, let's make sure Jannar gets it.
I need your...
I had his... I thought I had it on the list. Hang on, let me check my list here.
Did you?
Well, I thought I did.
And Jay says 2 right. Just 2 right.
Here, I'll give you the... I'll tell you what, I'm going to give the... I'm going to paste this to... paste the this login.
Jannar says he was on a list.
Yeah, I've got him on the list here. I've got him on the list. I don't know why he didn't.
Okay. I'll see. Maybe when I was adding people, I'm
going to put in the chat for you, Matt.
Yeah, just do that for me.
And see if this works for him.
I'll see if I can make it work while we're waiting for this setup to play out.
And if it doesn't work, it's because I have the wrong login for you.
Well, as soon as I put it in, it brings up their profile.
Yeah.
So if I can find their profile, I can just add them. So we're gonna manage access. Let's go. I'm pretty sure I added that one. Yeah, you're already added. So you're not gonna find it. You need to find it in the
I'll show you where
the invite only section. It's not part of the regular.
Look in your invite only under. You click on this little FX thing up here. Click on the invite only, and you should see it with the right here with the green padlock. If you don't see this, open it. Find a clean chart and try and add. Well, let's see if you have a clean chart. If it's not, it should. We were having problems. I was showing up. If you had another, he has it. Okay.
Yeah.
You good? You good?
Yeah, he didn't have the other indicator.
Oh, okay.
Because it was only myself and you, I think.
Okay, so you should have. So you have 2 indicators, correct? Mark that as confirmed then.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about that.
Well, I just want to make sure. I have a list here, and I just marking the ones I know that have been confirmed that they're working for him.
Oh yeah. No,
We still have one more person that hasn't.
Yeah, those are the two indicators that I can provide right now. We're trying to get the two other ones. It's coming. We'll see.
We just got to get a hold of Anthony.
Yeah, you didn't hear from him, did you?
No, I didn't. I'll try to give him a call. I'll try calling him again today and see if he answers for me.
Yeah. Got a comment on totally off subject. We've only got 2 days left until some people can get their hands on Gearbox and the new expert advisors. And let's just say this morning, I had a huge smile on my face from my Gearbox results. Let's just put it that way.
I see that's going to be launching and available Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah, in 2 days.
2
On
days. So
17th,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday is going to be available.
I think it's going to give a lot of life. Let's put it this way. Now, this is not. I'm not trying to sell nothing. You guys are on the call. You guys are already customers. So basically, the results have been like pretty astonishing, especially the level of drawdown that I'm experiencing. It's laughable. 2-3% drawdown max for the month. I have it on my FX book as well, and we've been testing it for the last couple months, and my account is at 2-3% drawdown, and profits are at last time I checked this morning, but my FX book didn't update, so it was, let me see.
Matt, what account size did you start with?
Oh, just it was like $1,700.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, let's see.
Matt, are you clear on what the promotion is for current customers and subscribers? I'm still a little foggy on
Kinda.
I'm a little foggy on what they're actually
So
providing.
so for people that were already paying $190 some odd or whatnot, I'm not going to have the exact dollar value, but
Was 189 is what the subscription fee is for, plus whatever the VPS is and all that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Well, the VPS is included in that 189.
That'll give you, yes, but that'll give you, now it used to give you one software. Now it gives you two softwares if you renew before the 17th. If you renew on the 17th or new customers, they're only going to have one, but they can pay $99 plus a sign-up fee if they're a new customer. But if they've already been with us, then they don't have the sign-up fee, and then they can use one software for
your
$99.
subscription will be applied. It'll be prorated to that. And actually, what it's going to do is give you two of the licenses for till November 17th for the price of one. Is that right? I understand that correctly?
Yeah, and then the next month it'll just give you the two for that 190 something. So instead of yeah, Jay's explaining it pretty good. I've been around, but yeah, so the account's up 16.33%, and my total drawdown is 2%, 2.43%. Now, it was very, very conservative since July, so beginning of August, and then I started bumping up settings and stuff. So I would say that every week it's been performing at about 2%, but since I bumped up the settings last week, it's already up almost 7% in 1 week. So that's why I had a big smile on my face. And I'm still maintaining the 3% drawdown. So,
Yeah, Gearbox is going to eliminate a lot of the drawdown that we've been experiencing with
Oh, God,
Alexander and Einstein.
oh yeah, absolutely. It's such a monster because you're getting those sniper entries. You're waiting for the hook back. You're waiting for, so instead of having to sit and draw down as, for example, NZD USD, so you're not taking a sell at the top of the run. You're taking a sell on the pullback, or sorry, you're taking a buy on the pullback, and you're taking the profit from that entire swing.
So right now we're having a nice little flag pullback. We still had this nice strong down move. It had a lot, and actually this is just basically causing another little flag pattern coming right up back into the bottom of where that A was originally.
Yeah.
This is that secondary wedge we often talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Let me change
It's
the color
looking
of
good.
this. Let me put it on the 5-minute chart and we'll see if we can, as I am taking some heat on this, but I'm still looking at, it's still respecting the bottom of it. If it can get back up in here or break the bottom of this little flag pattern, I'd be looking to maybe possibly take another entry if it closes below this 5-minute candle. I'm gonna put a little entry here. I'm gonna see it because here's where this pulled back. You see where here's a high, a lower high, a lower high. So it's trending on the down move. So if I draw and I'm going to make this call this, actually that's not right. Let me find it. I just call it divergence. It's not really divergence, but that's what this is showing, that the strength is strong, weak, strong, not quite as strong, less strong. And now we're looking to get a close below this area. Once it gets a break of this wedge, then we should be good for possible another entry. If we get a close on this candle, I would say we could take another entry short. And then your stop would be 10 pips above. Right now it's I'm only let's see, I'm from here to here. It's only 5 pips against me right now. It did go a little bit deeper. It went up to 8 pips, stayed within my 10 pips. I just moved it out of the way a little bit. Look, if I had to close above back into the wedge, I would have been out of this trade. The wedge still held. This area right in here is holding.
I was trying to talk, but I was muted, so that didn't really work.
Nice little flag pattern. Nice move down. Nice little flag pattern. Breaking out of the bottom. You can use the other side of the wedge for you. You can still use the other side of the main orange, which is the main initial wedge where the alert came in. It's still being respected. The dollar is still weak pretty much across the board. Actually, I take that back. The dollar is stronger across the board. I read that wrong.
No,
Dollar is strong to the New Zealand by 5, actually by 6 here, and strong by 4. Starting to break down again some more.
so I'm taking a look at potentially waiting until the 9 o'clock hour move before taking an entry, just to try to get my head straight. I was up quite late last night with Mr. Boaz, so nothing like taking trades with a foggy brain.
This would be another entry. I'm going to take another entry on this one. At 65.87. Sell limit 65.87. I'm going to say I may have already missed it, but we'll see.
Oh, that's just, you're on demo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's probably gonna pull up a little higher and make a little bit bigger of a wedge.
Yeah, it really shouldn't matter whether I'm on demo or whether I'm live. This we should be doing the same thing whether it's live or demo.
Good point.
And we did get the close below. Now it's the question whether I'll get filled on it. Well, actually, I didn't never got the order in. Sell limit 87. Target stop. That's not let me do it. I gotta change my. Let's try 1%. See if that helps. Oh, still wants to reject it. Why is that? Looking at 1% risk. 7 pip loss. I don't know why it's not allowing me to take that trade. Anyway, this would be where I would have gotten in. And so I was using this candle. I was using this candle right here as my reference on the break. This red candle came down, closed below. I tried getting in, it just wouldn't let me take the trade. This was the entry right here, and then the stop and target. The stop is going to still be 7 pips or 10. 10. I'm going to make it 10 pips, so I'm going to move my stop down to see 65.88 to 65.98 is where I'm going to put my stop right there. Why is it not doing this? This is not behaving very well. There it goes.
And I do believe the cost of AIRIS is going down. I believe it's going down. Right now it was $99, and now it's gonna. I believe it's gonna go down like 69 or 59 or something like that. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about any change in price on the AIRIS. We'll probably know more once they actually get it on the back office.
So that's that bigger wedge, ascending wedge, flat top on the 1 minute. You guys starting to be able to see the wedges even before you draw the lines, because you're bouncing off the 1 minute 62 right there.
Yeah, I'm seeing them everywhere now.
Yeah, it's kind of like a curse.
A good curse.
Yeah. Well, that's how you can get the tighter entries, is you take the 15-minute alert and then you find the other wedges within them, and we know that 4 out of 5 wedges will go the length of the stick, and then you can draw those 1 minute wedges within that 15-minute alert and potentially catch a couple extra pips on there.
Yeah.
The flat top, we have the curve on bottom. And so this A is still holding. This whole area right in here is still holding. And if it breaks the bottom of this wedge, it's probably going to be looking at this 62 right here. So if I get stopped out, I'll be looking to possibly re-enter it if it gets back up in this area. This is the 5 minute 60. Oh, wrong one. 5 minute 62.
Me.
And let's go over to the 15-minute chart and see what if that's telling us anything new. Dollar is still strong to the dollar is still strong to the downside.
Wells Fargo took a 6% hit. Interesting.
And then we have our 1562 is up this way. I'll make a mark on that so we have that for reference. I like being able to see where they are on the other time frames. Oops. 1562. Go back to our 5 minute chart.
Now it looks like the New Zealand's starting to gain strength. Even on the 5 minute.
Yeah, a little bit on the 5 minutes. Still a pullback. What could be happening is this thing's going to come back up and retest up here and then fall back again. So this may just be a strong pullback, but still needs to. I still think it's going to be respecting the top of the first wedge.
I would agree. This looks like a continuation wedge, like a formation from the whole thing. So I'm not concerned about this coming up and like going back to the origination of this move. Like I'd be surprised if it breaks 6,600. If it does, then that just gives me a little bit more credence that it's going to be a deeper move.
You see, these aren't coming out very far at all. Not even getting up to halfway into the 50% range.
No, not even.
But let me go and see if I can put a 50% in here. Right there is 50%.
That's pretty good. That's right. You can draw inside your indicator.
Yeah. So as long as that stays below and actually I kind of like the 40% better actually. That's one reason why I had that 40% line there before. And you see it came right up to the 40% and it's starting to hook back down again. Once we can get this blue one below the orange one, that means it's going to be going a little bit faster, get a little bit more zip to it. This was the candle right here that we got and that I would have gotten entered in off of this candle right in here.
Making quite a significant wedge there on the 1 minute.
Yep.
But that's good, right? Because you want wedges. You want to find them. You want to identify them. They're going to be like your best friend.
Let's see. Our time right now is, what time is it right now? Let's say
Ooh,
8:42.
I have something. Al, I will show you something.
Okay.
All right. We're going to try to see how big this retracement could potentially be. And it's not going to be using Fibonacci. Let me see if I can. I was working on something while you were doing it. So, interesting how we have bottom, bottom, and bottom, bottom, and then boom. So maybe likelihood, as price likes to do the same thing over and over. It likes to. So if it does come up here, it could come up to there, 65.95, and then plummet down. But you see, last night there was some major movement. Major movement on the downside. So that brings a lot of validity to your analysis that it's probably coming down. Anyway, let me stop sharing. Let you roll with it. I think I saw something in the chat.
I need to.
We'll measure moves, Jay says. Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my screen to be able to show my screen again here. What happened to it? Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm just hiding behind something here.
What are you hiding, Al?
Well, it was just once I got your chart up, everything else went behind something else here.
Jay says it's in ghost mode like Gearbox.
Yeah.
Funny.
It's just still basing right in here. Still showing dollar strength. This is where it just takes some patience. I think what's going to happen is we're going to probably get a major move just at or before the 9 o'clock move.
Yep. That's quite a possibility. We've seen it happen so many times, right, Al? Like we're here every morning, and almost every morning we have this, except like 2 or 3 mornings, there was no real move at the 9 o'clock hour. But generally, we're going to have some impulsivity one way or another. Everything lends to it breaking to the downside again. So, how do you feel, Al, about doing your wedges and trying to make it like a flat in one of the directions if possible?
I like it to a point. When we get the alerts, I've been leaning towards having both the upper trend line and the bottom trend line going in the same direction, going to a wedge, because that basically defines a wedge type uptrending channel or downtrending channel, and then wait for the break. I do see some. If I don't have a midpoint or a second hit on the trend line, then I'll go with a flat top. But if I can get I still prefer to find that anchor, midpoint, and like I said, the anchor, the midpoint, and then the third hit.
Yeah. Well, when you get a third hit, you've got something solid.
Right.
You can put some weight behind that. When you only have 2 hits or 1 hit, it might more than likely come back up and come back down into the wedge, because we see that it likes to make 2 and 3 hits before it actually breaks out.
And a lot of times, I like it starting with these nice, big, strong candles, extended range candle. Like you see how small these candles are. This is a nice, strong extended range. So I like to use that as my anchor on the top side. Now, if I'm here and there's nothing close to it, then I'll just flat top it until it breaks. Once I get the break, then I'll move that to the top. So now I've got the second hit. I'm looking for the third hit over here someplace to fall back. So here's like the first area where it pulled back. I'm looking at as where this point right here. Off of this candle right here, it was still kind of a flat top on this pullback. This pullback gave me a little bit higher one. So now I've got my upper channel, and that's still only my second hit. Now I would expect to see it. Here's the first hit here. Actually, I can maybe take it. Yeah, that's the first hit. Here's the anchor. Here's the first hit, came back up, gave me my second hit up here. Anchor, first hit, anchor, first hit. Looking for either a bounce here. Now if it breaks and closes below where my entry was here, we should be off and running. If it doesn't, that may be the third hit of a, and I need to get a close below this area. So I want to see a close below this area right in here. I'm on a 5 minute, yep. So I would be looking at a entry to on close.
Yeah, the channels are getting tighter and tighter as they're going down.
I'd like to see a wick. I like to see a wick past the bottom, but close inside the middle. Or have a strong candle with a no wick at all closing the middle. If I see a big candle coming down, breaks the bottom of this, and with a bigger wick than the body, then I'm going to think there's going to be some. And I'd like to see a little more confirmation before I want to enter. But right now, I'm looking to see it come in, close inside this region, perhaps maybe even break the bottom of, because this is the pivot. This is where the A is. So this little box right here is going to give us a good indication. Good, same philosophy as up here, where we had the body of the. Here's where the trend line was. Here's where the close of that candle where we got the alert. If I take the same box and duplicate it up top here, here's the break of the wedge. Here's where my A was.
Here we go. That just broke the channel. That was a channel breaker.
Yeah, we had the break of the wedge up here, closed in. A very little wick, came back, retested, and broke down. And that's why we're looking at that same type of formation as we had right up here, looking for the same thing down here. So if we get the 5 minute candle close, I still like the 1 minute, but we'll stick with the 5 minute here, just as a little bit, perhaps it's a little bit safer. But oftentimes you'll miss the move in that regard. I'll put them both up. We can see how the 1 minute closes. Right now we have another 3 seconds. This candle is going to close on the 1 minute, and that's right at the 8:50. That was the first minute of the new 5 minute candle. So this one's got 4 minutes to go. Probably, yep, almost 4 minutes to go. This is not conclusive to me. It did close, but it's not very conclusive. I do like the fact that we did get a close again off of this pivot area. But now we have a new higher pivot, so we really have to be looking at the close below this candle right here. This is kind of a double top right in here. And this red candle right here is engulfing. This candle has engulfed the red candle. In other words, this candle hasn't gotten it either side. Didn't get any higher, didn't get any lower than this previous blue candle. Coming back up, retesting this line right here, which is basically this bottom of this wick, this candle right. So move that text out of the way here a little bit. Pulled back up to this line, rejected it. See if we can get it closed below this small little red candle here. Still the same 5 minute candle that we're looking at over here, but now we have, let's see, that 5 minute candle is going to close. That's 50. This would be the next 5-minute candle right there.
I like that 1 minute candle, that big wick,
Yeah.
and it failed to make a higher high just on the
Yeah.
1 minute. That's a good sign.
Yeah, if we can get a close below, this one right here.
Oh yeah.
Well, I like this one. This one held. It came back, closed it, came back, tested. This one held. Now we have a little trend going off of from this high to this one.
We'll see you later, Jay. Thanks for being here this morning.
See you later, Jay.
This is pretty much how we manage our trades. You can see it's making there's a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. I'm gonna take this one off just so it doesn't clutter up all of our screens here. Get a good visual on our 15-minute.
This is the advantage of paying for your trading view. You can see everything at one glance. You know, it's no problem for me to pay for the right tools. You know, I'm taking this thing very seriously, and trading is, if you want to take it to the next level, you're gonna have to pay for the right tools.
Okay, there we got the 5-minute close inside this. We got a little green candle. We have 2 red candles on the 1 minute. Here's the single red 5-minute candle, but we have 1, 2, 3. We have 4 red candles that have closed underneath this trend line.
Excuse me, Al.
Yes.
Question. Maybe I missed it. All right, on the 5-minute chart.
Yeah.
Okay, when you have the box there, enter on close.
Yes.
Now I know you wanted it below, like in between, obviously, the upper line and the lower line. Now, why didn't you take a trade at the close of that red candle?
Because I'm already in the trade.
Well, couldn't you take another?
Well, it wouldn't let. Actually, I tried taking another one up here, and it didn't let me take it. So I just had to mark it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the trading view, the SEC type of thing that for some
I had to
reason.
bring the dog in, so I didn't see that it took a second.
But the bottom line is we were looking at a close in here,
right,
with very little wick.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a big wick come down, come back up again, then I'd be hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, this is a real bearish candle. In other words, you have very, very little wick down here. We have a slight pullback, and you're watching this pullback. If this thing pulls back, as soon as this candle turns red again,
Mm-hmm.
now we have so this is basically the close right here of.
Correct.
Okay, we had a little. So right now it's actually going to probably form a nice little. I want to see. We had the red candle, but it's still engulfing inside. So right now, this red candle here, is engulfed inside this or this. Okay. So right now, this is for lack of a better term, this is our new box right here. And we'll see if it's going to get rejected. You still be okay, even if you took it short here. You're still okay. You still have lots of if you're looking at a 10 pip stop from the entry here,
Mm-hmm.
your 10 pips is still way up over here. I mean, it's still off my screen.
Right.
So you still have lots of room. So as long as I mean, you're going to give up a little bit here, but if it comes back up and breaks through this area right in here, well, then maybe we may need to rethink this.
Right.
But right
No.
now it's still favoring to the downside. We
Correct.
have this RSI is coming up. This one still hasn't crossed over the 50 area or the 40 area. This one's still hanging down low. This one's still making lower highs on the pullback. This one's is retesting this upper area. I'm looking at this area in here, this box.
So like a continuation to my question is that if I wasn't in my second position, could I have taken a position? Like my thought was I would have taken a second position on the close of that red candle.
And that would have been perfectly fine. That would have been, okay. You have two choices. You could take it on the close or you could wait for it to do what it's doing right now and see if it's going to retest it. Right. Personally, for the 2 pip difference, I probably just take it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Especially knowing that we've got the down pressure, the pressure's down to the downside.
Right.
Yeah. This gives you a little bit better fill, but you also run the risk of this. You ran the risk of this thing coming down with no wick and just falling right off. If you wait for the retracement, sometimes you may not get it. In this case, you probably would have gotten it.
Right.
But again, if you're waiting for it to come up to the wedge to tag the wedge, well, now you just missed the trade. Because remember, you need 2 pips to get through in order to get filled.
Right.
So right now you only took the heat of about 3 pips.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going to start breaking. Now we're coming up on our 9 o'clock hour. And we're starting to get the break.
I'll check out what pair that is. That just came up.
Let's see, I should be able to pull that up here.
You'll be faster than me, huh, Al?
No, I have it on another chart here. At least I thought I did. U.S. Swiss at 9 o'clock. U.S. Swiss descending.
Yep.
I like that.
That's an agreement with that one.
Yeah. Let's see.
You take a look at that one. I'll keep monitoring this one.
For sure. Let's go see. And we're on our way down, Al. Looks good.
Everything's still strong to the downside on the U.S.
That's that 9 o'clock hour that just hit.
Yep.
So
yep.
We'll see what happens.
I would have liked to have seen this candle close below this A. It just went down below it.
You said USD Swiss, right?
Yes.
All right. Oh, there's a massive wedge. There's actually a wedge on the daily chart. Anyway. I'll do the markup here and then I'll share it after I'm done. I'll do it from a higher time frame as well, just so we'll go from high down to the 15 and have a pretty good picture of what's going on. I'll tell you, I like it short first.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm thinking about putting a flat top, Al, for this one because I can't. Interesting.
This was at 9 o'clock, right? I believe.
Yeah, it was. What time are we done today, Al?
We can go till we'll probably go to about 10. 10, yeah, we'll go about till 10 o'clock today. There's a descending wedge, descending. I'm drawing it off on another. No.
Oh, it was descending, eh?
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. I actually made it ascending. My wedge might be too big, Al. Maybe yours is better.
I'm looking at a flat bottom right now.
Okay.
But
Okay, now I see it. I needed that last candle. Like, last candle wasn't... You got a nice rejection on your QEUS. Another big wick rejection on the 1 minute. You said you have 6 screens, right, Al?
I have 6 monitors. Yep.
I think I need to step up my game.
I use every one of them.
Yeah, I've got about 100 inches of screen, but I'm sitting right next to one of those big 27-inch iMacs. I just need to format it and get it working again, and then I can have that as a second computer and monitor all the stuff on there too. So, but this was the cheapest setup. You know, I had what is it? I think I paid $300 for 2 24-inch monitors from Costco, and then I have it plugged into my laptop. It just worked out really well.
Yeah, I think the average, most of my screens are 24-inch, and they've been costing about $127. I think is what I get each one for.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was paying. I think I paid $150. They're.
I'm looking at this U.S. Swiss. It's still going to the upside, but looking for it to give me a reason to go short on it.
Here's your Kiwi.
Yep, starting to break.
There you are.
So we took some heat on this one, but it seems to be working out okay. This was a key candle right here. This one that closed below this box. Now we're looking for this thing to come down to our target area. And remember, this is
what's your target?
Well, the first target, the 10 pip target, is at 65.68. I got in at 65.87. Actually, my entry. Well, I tried to get in at 65.83 was the entry, I believe.
Okay.
65.82, so 82 to 72 would be the first target, which is right about here. And then, so I'm looking at 10 pip target, so 72 would be right about there. This would be target 1. And then target 2 would be another 10 pips below that, so it'd be 65.62.
So if I was to swing the bat on US Swiss, I would wait for it to bounce off the top of my my wedge. So it would be like 91.55 is where I would take a sell or a buy. Like I would wait for it to break whatever level if it's going to go up, but it's got a lot more room to the downside. If it goes to 91.55, 56 in that area.
Mm-hmm. Right now, right now we have the wedge on that one. Okay, I'll show you what I'm looking at with this one. Let me put it on the, see if I have it up here.
Okay.
Let me go with I'll keep an eye on that one.
Here
So
comes
we
your
got
target.
US yen. So we're going to go with US Swiss. Clean screen, 15-minute chart.
I'm gonna go make some 1 minute wedges because my wedge on the 15-minute is more like a 4-hour wedge than a 15-minute wedge.
Here's the 9 o'clock. It was descending wedge. So I'm looking at, first off, I'm going to look and see where the higher time frame trend is. And we had a high here. So I'm going to go with this high to this high and wait for another hit on the trend line. So I'm just going to draw this from the previous day's high to the next day's high to the day's high. There's my major trend line. We had the alert. And right now I'm looking to wait for these RSIs to get up to this upper area. We had a descending wedge, which was basically, well, let me get the bottom one here first too. So here was the day's low, day low. So here's the major wedge that we're looking at. Here's where we had the alert. And we had the alert, it was descending wedge. So I'm going to draw this one from here. I'll take it down to here, take it down too close in to where the alert was, and tuck us in down below. So right now it's breaking out of the top. It's going to come right on up into this area. I'm looking for this RSI to get up into the 75 range, up into this little area. And then once we get that, then we can look for the, I'm expecting there's going to be a hook. When it gets up here, it's going to hook and come back down to retest and then maybe go short. Right now, the dollar is stronger, not by a lot on the 15. So we got a little bit of an uptrend here right now, but I'm looking for this. If I can flat top this, we're getting the break of the C. So right now, I don't want this. I want to see if it's going to respect the flat top of the A into this area right in here. This is where I'm going to consider the trap to be. And we're just setting traps is what we're doing. If it gets up into here, I'm going to be looking to see where the RSI is and see if we can get a, here's a high. I'd be looking for the trap to be set and then try and get in at the close below this blue 15-minute candle. So I'm going to set this here for, this would be the entry right in there.
Oh, that's big. Look at that thing.
And so I'd be looking at to enter to sell somewhere once it gets up in here. If we can get up, get a close above, then I'll be looking for that pullback.
91.55 maybe, Al.
91.55. Yep, that would be about right.
Yeah, that's the top of my big wedge. So that's a strong trend line. I made. So that's going to be your point of rejection if there's going to be one.
Meanwhile, we'll be back at the ranch. We're coming up to our first target. It's starting to give us some optimism that we're going to hit our first target on this.
Mm-hmm.
Check out where my fib lines are, see if there's going to be any hidden bounces. Here's a nice green fib line. Rejected on the red one, came back down. This is a 15-minute fib line, I believe. 5-minute fib line. So we got 21 pips. There's 21 pips between here and here. This was the top 7. We're in the middle 7 right now. We're looking for the bottom 7. If I draw this out from the fib line to the fib line, right now we're in the middle third. And I'm going to make this as a, let's make those blue. Nope, it's not blue. This is, right now, here's where our 10 pip target is. This is probably about 8 pips. Remember, you got to get your spread. It's whatever your target is, it's got to pass their target by right now 1.3 pips in order to get filled. And the Swiss is not ready yet. I'll let you know when it is. I have to see the Swiss get up a little bit higher still. And right now I'm going to move my stop to break even in case this thing comes back. Or near break even. Protect my profits. If it comes back and breaks this purple trend line, I will close it out and see if it comes back in to give me another entry. This is coming on up. It's got a nice little hook coming up. This one's still buried. See how this one's pulling back up on the 1 minute? It's pulling back up at on the 5 and on the 15. They're still way below the 40% range. I'm gonna mark my 40%, right about close enough. If I can get this to work. I say I still like that 40%, but I also like that 75. So we're just going to put this on when we need it. As long as these stay below that 40%, I'm going to stay in this thing short. And I'll try and get more with the pullbacks. You get the pullback, you get a close below this candle right here. You could maybe take another entry if you wanted to. Still not quite ready to give it up on the Swiss yet. Right now it's fighting inside this area right in here. This is the area of indecision. Right now I'm looking at this box right in here from the low of this candle, see if it's going to break through the top of this. How much time do we have on this candle? We have 2 minutes still. If I get a close above this candle right here, I may just get out of my trade and look for a better entry. If it wicks up and comes back down, that's okay. If it closes, I may try to look for it as a possible reversal here. We still have some downward pressure on both these moving averages. And one more minute. This thing's coming up, starting to get a little bit of a hook. Right now, this is the playground we're working with. Right now, it's basing inside of this red candle. And also notice there's a doji right in here. That's significant. I like using doji references. That's where the buyers, on that 1 minute candle, that's where the buyers and sellers were all at equilibrium. And right now we're 10 minutes from the market open. You can see a little flag pattern right here. We had a nice strong move down. There's a little flag pattern right inside this little box. Move down. Here's an A, B, C retracement, and we'll see if it comes up to take another one. And this could be a little pullback before the market opens. And I'm going to exit this trade and lock in those profits. And if it comes back into this box, I may take another shot at it. You can see it's forming another little parallel channel on the upside. Here's a low, here's a high, here's a low, here's another high. And actually, I'm bringing this one down to more of a parallel. Basically, what this thing did, it came down halfway in between. There's 7 pips. There's the halfway mark. It's going to come back and retest this area. Probably retest the halfway mark of this red zone right here. See, these are negating above the 40%. This one's still hanging down below. So this is, again, I'm looking at this just being another pullback. Looking for another re-entry possibly. We have our 62 is all the way, our 5 minute 62 is all the way up here. Our 1562 is right here. Use that for references. It's got a little ways to the other side, but it could possibly come up and retag this. Coming back up into our enter the close zone. Let's retesting this earlier. This is where the origin of this last move came out of. This is where I kind of would do the flat top. We're looking to see as it's trying to decide where it's going to stop on this uptrend. This little up. This was an area that we were looking at. We wanted it to close below, and we'll see if it can kind of stay within this region right here. This is where the sellers came in, took control. Now it's coming up to retest to see if this area is going to, if the sellers can maintain control, it's going to drive it back down. If it can't, it's going to probably break up to the top of the wedge. Right now, the dollar is still showing strength on the 15, the 5. It's about evened up with the 5. We have a little bit of a flip where we have New Zealand strength to the upside. This is a relatively strong pullback. It's still well within the region of the original wedge, which was up here. And then we have our secondary wedge, which was the yellow one. The RSI is still below the 40 on the 15. The 8 period is still below the 40 on the 5. And we're coming right on up to where it's up near the 75 on the 1 minute, looking for the reversal. The 62 on the 1 minute held. Here's a pivot high. Here's the first candle below. We got the close below this one. This could be a nice little entry with a very tight stop. I'd like to see a little bit more of a confirmed hook on the 5 minute here. This would be very aggressive. This would be a little bit less aggressive, but a bigger stop. And the dollar is still showing strength against the Swiss. And the market is just opening up right now as we speak.
I wonder what we're going to see when this thing opens.
All right, now it's looking that we're going to get some dollar strength here on the New Zealand. So we had the pullback. Still never really hit our target yet. Well, I did take my trade off, and I'm now looking to see about possibly getting a re-entry. But I'm going to let this market stabilize a little bit before I do. Right now, nothing's conclusive here. Everything's still in the middle of the 75-25 zone. Yeah, it looks like the Swiss is a possibility for taking it short. We are looking at dollar strength or dollar weakness on the Swiss. We're looking at dollar weakness now on the New Zealand. Let's see, where's my Swiss trade here? And we're looking at on the 15-minute chart, we had a nice little pullback. Here's where still didn't get up into the 75 area. It did over here. So we could be using this as pretty much of a reference over in this box where the trap was. We came up to the trap, and now it's starting to give us a reason to get in short. If we get a close below this blue candle right here, we can take it short. Next, we had it here. This was the first opportunity right here on the bottom of this candle. This one made a lower high that came right up into the trap area. This would be a confirmation of this one. Let's see if this blue 8 period moving average can get back down here to the set 25. If it does, look at a hook. We may be looking at this thing may start going to the upside, but right now this is the area we're looking at. We still did not get the 75 after the alert. That's one thing to keep in mind. On the 8 period, this only got up to roughly 60, just broke out above the 60. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Do you have any questions of anybody? Right now we're just sort of waiting to see what this thing's going to do. I like this little pullback. I like this hook on the 5-minute. Pivot high. And we see the close below the second candle. It's trying to close right now. This would be an early entry to the downside and maybe look for another bounce off the bottom here. We got the entry at 91.43. 91.53 would be the stop. And then we have the target that would be 91.43. $43.33, that'll be it. And this would be the target, target one. Everybody still awake?
Yes, yes. Still with you.
Sit and watch.
Yeah. Just watching.
We're all just mesmerized by the market.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
Sounded good, right? Oh, Leslie got 7 pips on the NCD.
Good stuff, Leslie.
All right.
That's great to see.
That requires a happy dance.
I'm still right about break even on my live account. I am short on the US Swiss. I did get short. And actually we can get let's put this one on here, sell. We're looking at 10 pips. Let's go 10 pips, 2%. And entry of at 91.43. So we'll go sell limit. Let's see, I'm not sure it's going to get in at 91.43. I'll try it here. There it is. My stop's up here. This is the candle I got in on this one. And we're getting a little bit of a trend going on this from the high of where after the alert. Here was the alert. There was the high after the alert. And now we're getting high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Has a little trend developing right here, and we'll either go break down to the downside or it won't. And this is trading.
So that is a trade that I am getting into.
So I got in with on the pullback of this. As we had the alert, we had the pullback, came into my trap area, gave me a it gave me a 3-candle formation where I looked to get in. Ideally, I would have liked to have gotten in on this candle right here. I'd use this one a little more conservative. And I came down, entered it, and that's where I'm at right now. And we're looking at pretty much this little channel going on right in here. It's got nice little lows that bounced, low it bounced. You can probably take this one down a little bit lower here. And this is the downward channel we're looking at right now until it comes down where we get these on the 15-minute coming down to the 75. If it does, then we can take off our trade. Or if it breaks the top of this channel coming down. This is a pretty steep channel right there, which is a good thing for the short. The New Zealand trade looks like it's coming back up to retest the initial wedge. Here's the initial wedge. Here's where the alert, here's where it broke. Here's where our entry to sell was. Still respecting that area. Take this off. Just more clutter. So right now this thing's coming up to respect the bottom of the wedge. Here's the initial wedge. Here's the secondary wedge coming up. Here's the area that we got in. Now it's just coming up to retest that area.
Let's see.
And the Swiss is still working in our direction. Now this part with the Swiss could just be a pullback. Right now it's below all the moving averages are not quite right here. We have a bounce coming in off of the 62 on the 5-minute. I don't like that part.
On where? On the Swiss?
On the Swiss, yeah.
I'm seeing that.
I'm gonna close that position out. I didn't notice that before.
Oh, I screwed up that entry. I put the wrong stop loss.
In fact, we got the bounce off this 62, and we're looking like it's about ready to close out above this. This thing's probably going to go long, which is going to help support our New Zealand trade. If you're still in the New Zealand trade, this thing's starting to come back up into our area. Nice little pullback here. This one's coming up. 40. The 8 period is still below the 40 area. We got the 3 period coming on up as a nice little hook. So this is hanging down. This one's going up. We're getting the hook. We have a nice little doji up here on the 1 minute. And we'll see what this thing does.
Yeah, I accidentally put my stop loss at 2 pips instead of 10 pips. So I don't know why why I mistyped it, but whatever.
Lack of sleep, Matt.
I was just gonna say baby brain.
Gotta be something. I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, yeah, it's going. Boom, stop. I'm like, what are you talking about? It didn't go 10 pips yet. You're full of tartar sauce.
That's a new saying. You're full of tartar sauce.
Yeah, I don't like tartar sauce, so
Me
I
either.
heard that.
I find it stinks. It's miserable stuff.
And on the New Zealand trade, back to the New Zealand trade, we have where we had the break, it closed above. Now we've had right now, all the moving averages on the 15-minute are all in the correct direction. Here's the 62, 13, 5, 62. We're getting a little bit of a flip on this one right now, but it should be, they're right on top of each other. So this one hopefully will flip pretty soon. And this one now has this was not in the right direction, but it's looking to pull back and hopefully looking at it's going to come and reach this and then go on down some more. Nice little wick, nice candle with a strong wick rejection. The bottom of the wedge held so far.
Here we go, Swiss.
There's our 62 on the 5-minute. Right at below where this entry is right here.
You still looking at the Swiss?
Yep, still am.
Okay.
Looks like it's going to break to the downside here.
Mm-hmm. That's I took it short. I had the 15 I think it's 15 minutes 62 or whatnot is crossing.
And this New Zealand is starting to break to the upside. So I am not playing with that game anymore. Strong move up. So the dollar is getting real weak right here.
Sure is. And the trade that I messed up, I actually put it in a buy for Kiwi.
Oh,
The one that I put the 2 pip stop loss.
you would have been doing pretty well now.
Yeah. So note to self: make sure that when you put your stop loss, you're not screwing that one up.
And you're in the correct direction.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well. Because I like the 1 minute wedge that I saw, so and there was another, it's more like a 5 minute wedge on the Kiwi US.
One thing I don't like about the Swiss is it's looking to bounce off the 62 moving average on the 15. It did penetrate the 5.
Oh, it's the 5 I was looking at. Okay. Okay, me
So
a
it is the
call
5,
now.
it's penetrating the 5. But it's going to bounce off the 60. And these are still going in the, this is still a, now this thing could possibly break through here, but it's going to, I'm looking at, it's probably going to bounce off of, my target right here would be right here at the purple line. From this entry to here would be 10 pips.
Yeah, it's a little bit far. I think I'd rather have maybe take 6 or 7 without having any
Yeah.
smoke from. There's too much stuff going on. There's the bottom of the wedge. There's the 62. There's the 30-minute 62 that you don't have.
Right.
You got the 15-minute 62. Like everything's right there.
Right.
So it's just stacking right against you.
This is still the overall alert from the original alert.
Here we go. So Kiwi US is making a little wedge on the 1 minute.
Came right up into this enter to close zone where it broke out the first time.
Yep. Looks like it might tag the 62.
Yep. And that's basically the bottom of this initial wedge where we had the alert. So this is one of the situations where when we had the alert, which was back at 7:45, it did give us an entry. It's coming back to retest to see if it's going to go to continue. This was the first entry. Actually, if you got in at this first candle, you've been all right to get, you have had your 15 pips already. Like these are starting to show the break of the downside again.
Mm-hmm.
Break of the wedges. See this one on the 15-minute came up, tested the 13 moving average, broke it, couldn't close above it, right up into our little entry zone, which is from our original alert.
We're getting up to the 10 o'clock hour, so we're
Yep.
about to see pretty significant closes on a couple of the time frames.
Yep.
Market makers are going to push it in the direction they want to close that one candle exactly where they want it to be. That's why I'm not concerned about the pullback, more or less, that's going on
the Kiwi.
on the franc Swiss.
Oh.
Because I was short, so still am short. So
Right now, there's right now, if the dollar stays strong, then you're going to be having a short on the New Zealand and a long on the Swiss. They're going to be somewhat contra. So you may want to be in the same direction on both of them.
Yep.
In this, i.e., the direction of the strength of the dollar. And on that note, it's 10 o'clock. I think we're going to go ahead and close this room. Everybody has their plan intact, I hope. And we're going to keep monitoring this, but we'll see everybody tomorrow. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's the last day. Tomorrow's Friday. So be aware for tomorrow being the end of the week, and you'll see a lot of profit taking going on probably. So having said that, we're going to shut this thing down, and we will see everybody tomorrow.
See y'all
All right.
tomorrow, everyone.
Tomorrow.
All right. Later, guys.